was 19 when I got married. I got pregnant again and again. I had 2 miscarriages back to back. That is when that started breaking me. I wanted to jump off a building. I wanted to not talk to anyone. I have locked myself in the room for days. You need to accept something is wrong with you. And then giving birth, being a mom, having children is one of the most exciting things I think most women go through in their life. I began my motherhood journey with a miscarriage. I've had 9 pregnancies in total, 5 miscarriages, and 4 healthy children. The toll it took on me, on my mental and physical health, is another story altogether. I was 19 when I got married. I had my first miscarriage right there. And I'm going to tell you my story here on. Hi, my name is Parul Kakkad. I'm the founder of Mumbai Mummy. It's a platform I've created on Instagram to celebrate moms from all walks of life and to share each journey that each one goes through. Going back to where I came from, I was born and raised in Africa. I did my schooling till about 13, and then figured that there weren't great schooling options back then in Africa. And we came and moved to India, and I was sent to a boarding school in Panchkini, and I was there for about 2 years. That's where my actual life began, as taking on responsibilities and becoming independent as a person. I was made fun of for my accent because I had a Desi accent mixed with a little African accent, which was really funny. And people would keep making fun of me and doing all of these things. And that's when you kind of realize that from this moment onwards, you're always going to be facing people who will bring you down from any part of life and do different things to always look down upon you. It's upon you as an individual to look at yourself and how you want to flourish and how you want to shine. Moving on from there, I went to Pune. I was in college. I was 16 at that point. I was living with a very strict uncle and aunt, and they would report everything to my parents as to what I did, where I went, what I ate, what I studied. And I felt like boarding school kind of gave me that independence, and then I was back into another closed zone. And I wanted to break out of that, and that brought me to Bombay. And I came here and started studying arts and design. I was very keen on learning different kinds of art and design and stuff like that. So right there, within the first year, I met my husband. He was this cute chocolate boy. Everyone was very fond of him. He was a great guy. I was kind of balancing. Obviously, everyone balances their work, play, fun, all of that. And when I told my parents about him, they were like, "We've not sent you to India to do all of this. We have sent you to study. And if you're not going to do that, you can come back home and look after the business." And in my mind, I was like, I need to figure this out. I am here to show something to my parents and prove to them that I am like great at what I do. And I had to obviously kind of convince them on my husband. Back then, everyone was like, "Kundli match honi chahiye, ye hona chahiye." To my luck, hamari kundli match ho gayi. So we went on to getting married, and guess what? I got married at 19. And my mom is like, "You're only 19." And I was like, "Yes, mom, I'm 19. I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions." Back then, she used to tell me that, "Wait till you're 26, you think differently." But I felt because I left home at 13, I was so independent and so decisive in my thoughts that I knew what I wanted. And right there, I was balancing college life and marriage life. I got married while I was still studying. And the whole ball game of just trying to balance waking up in the morning, trying to figure out the house, looking after the house, cooking, then going to college, coming back. And in that whole process, I got pregnant. And that was like a shocker. And I didn't actually know that I was pregnant till I had my miscarriage. And I was rushed to the hospital. And that's when I got to know. And at that point, it didn't feel as a loss, but it was a loss. And I couldn't understand what it was till it hit me later when I started working and I got busy with all my work and everything. And then I was like, I don't think I can have kids because I just can't do it. And then time went by, things went by. Then obviously, you know how families keep saying, bacha kar lo, bacha kar lo, bacha kar lo. And at 26, almost like 6 years later, I had my first child. And it was just something else. Like, I couldn't believe that I had given birth to someone. I was that girl in college, ke ye kabhi shadi nahi karegi. The first one, like all, it's the toughest thing to raise one child in the beginning because you're learning the tricks and trade. You don't know how things are. People are telling you, ऐसे करो, वैसे करो, उसको ये दो, उसको ऐसे मत खिलाओ, ये पिलाओ. And it's just so confusing because you don't know, are you doing the right thing as a mom? And then you kind of over time you start listening to the voice inside of you. Listen to the voice inside of your head. You understand your child better than anybody else can ever do. So even if people are telling you to do all these things, I've come to a point where I know what I want and I know what is right for my child because no mom ever wishes ill upon their child is my like simplest logic. Going on, एक बच्चा हो गया, दूसरा बच्चा कर लो, दूसरा बच्चा कर लो. Then the whole journey again began. And I think silently, me and my husband, we love having kids around. It's just a thing for both of us. And I got pregnant again and again. I had 2 miscarriages back to back, which I've had literally every kind of pregnancy you can even imagine, from an ectopic to no yolk to no heartbeat. And the whole fact, that is when that started breaking me. When I had my first miscarriage at about 3 months, I had no idea what I'm going to deal with and how I'm supposed to even figure all this out. Like, how do I even tell somebody at home? And I never did because the concept of saying that for the first 3 months, it's best to keep quiet, I think sometimes it does help because then you learn how to deal with it on your own than having 1,000 faces looking at you, telling you, like, oh, are you okay? Is everything okay? I was not okay. You will never be okay. It is on you to fight it out and figure it out. But yes, you do need help from time to time. Those were like the smaller phases I felt where I was getting in and out of depression. And maybe they were baby blues or all of those things. Then there's like a big age gap between my first and second. So 4 years down the line, I had my second. And she was just a bliss. Like, it was such a beautiful flow. And I completely forgot about everything that had happened. I'm like, okay, God has blessed me. I'm great. I'm a great mom. I can do this. By the time you have two, I think other moms and other older people look at you with much more confidence that, okay, she's done this once, she can do it again. And honestly, I could, and I did it. After that, I had one more miscarriage. If you ask me why why was I always like trying to have kids? I've always wanted a big family. And I guess I started learning how to deal with the pain and all of that. And my threshold of pain is like there, which is good. I had my third or fourth miscarriage by then. That was like, okay, fine, theek hai, ho gaya, no problem. And then suddenly, after a couple of months, again, I got pregnant. And this was also a blessing. I now have 1 son and 3 daughters. Every pregnancy is hard. Like, it's tough. What a woman goes through is their own journey of going through and dealing with emotions, feelings. Your body completely changes. That is a whole different story, which, like, hats off to every woman that puts in all her best for herself and her child. The third was quite a breeze. I didn't have that much of an issue. After the third, I had my fourth. And I had one more miscarriage actually. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I need to go to the doctor. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't deal with all this mental stress and pain. So we need to like kind of do something about it. She's like, yeah, okay, fine. You need to wait for a couple of months and then we can have a surgery done where you can basically, they tie your tube so you can't have any more kids. And before I could do that, I got pregnant with my fourth. Now, this was like really funny because जब पहला बच्चा होता है आप जाके बोलते हो कि अभी मत बताना मम्मी को, अभी मत बताना पापा को, थोड़ा रुक जाते हैं. By the fourth, we didn't want to tell anybody because they're like, "Nick, you're going to tell them, you're going to tell them." And it was so funny because we were running away from the situation and hiding. And we were kind of ashamed in a funny way because everyone's just like, why are you having so many kids? Abhi bas karo, bas karo. Like pehle bol rahe the कि बच्चा करो, अब बोल रहे बस करो, बस करो, बस करो. And yeah, and she came and she completely transformed all of our lives, and which was great. And then few months into after I gave birth to my fourth is when I started battling with depression. And this depression is something that I have never ever experienced or felt in my life. Like when people say they're depressed, please understand what they're saying and where it's coming from. You actually live in a head, in like a box in your head, in such a way where to take you out of that space is the most taxing journey you can go through. I've wanted to jump off a building. I've wanted to not talk to anyone. I have locked myself in the room for days, not wanting to interact. I had reached a point where चार बच्चे होने के बाद I was like, मुझे कुछ नहीं करना है. I used to tell my mom and dad, you can look after them. I used to tell my husband, I don't feel like doing anything. Please look after the kids. And they would just like look at me like wonder. And I was not this person. I'm a mom who's obsessed with my kids. And when I like look back and I just think about what I did, those 6 months were so hard on me and the family because nobody understood. My kids never understood what was happening to me. They would come into the room to ask me, Mama, aap theek ho? Are you okay? Can I get you something? And I'd just be like, you know what, just leave me alone. I don't want to do anything. And then like, you have to go get help. And the first stage to get help from someone is acceptance. You need to accept something is wrong with you. Till the time you don't accept, you will not know how to fix it. I accepted that there was something wrong with me. I went to the doctor and I'm like, I'm not this person. I need you to get me out of this phase. I need to be back to normal. Acceptance is the biggest thing you need to do. It's like when you put someone in a room and you lock them and you're like, nay, I'm locked in a room. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out. But the moment you accept that, okay, I'm locked in this room, how do I get out of it? Is how you need to move forward and take your journey on. And through this, I realized when I came out of my dark space, I realized how I felt like sunshine. I can't even explain to you how bright and happy I feel today. And the main reason for me to start my entire journey and blogging on motherhood is to celebrate moms and tell them that happiness comes from within. If you say that, yes, my happiness lies in my family and my children and my work, that's great. But till the time you are not happy as an individual from within, you cannot make anyone else happy.
Josh Talks is now a Spotify exclusive podcast. The audio version of our talks will be available only on Spotify. If you like this video and you'd like to listen to more inspiring stories like this, please follow the Josh Talks podcast only on Spotify.
अगर आप भी इस वीडियो के एंड तक पहुंच गए हैं तो मेरी तरह ही आप भी इंस्पायर जरूर हुए होंगे. आपको भी मोटिवेशन मिली होगी अपने सपनों को पूरा करने की. दोस्तों, सपने तो हम सभी देखते हैं, लेकिन हम में से कुछ ही लोग अपने सपनों को पूरा करने में सक्सेसफुल हो पाते हैं। मैं आपको बताना चाहती हूँ कि जो भी इंसान अपने गोल्स को अचीव करने में सक्सेसफुल होता है, उन सभी में कुछ कॉमन स्किल्स होती हैं, जैसे कि अच्छी कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स जो कि स्पोकन इंग्लिश से आती हैं। और दोस्तों, हम सभी इस स्किल को मास्टर करके अपनी लाइफ में आगे बढ़ सकते हैं जोश स्किल्स ऐप के साथ। इस ऐप में हम 1 by 1 वोकैबुलरी के नए वर्ड्स, ग्रामर प्रैक्टिसेस, रीडिंग और राइटिंग प्रैक्टिसेस के साथ साथ अपने जैसे अन्य हजारों स्टूडेंट्स के साथ ऑनलाइन इंग्लिश में लाइव बात करके अपनी इंग्लिश को वर्ल्ड क्लास बना सकते हैं। आज ही अपनी सक्सेस की तरफ पहला कदम लें, भारत के नंबर 1 स्पोकन इंग्लिश ऐप जोश स्किल्स के साथ।
Tell us what you think about this video and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.